After the release of Peacemaker and the subsequent patch notes that we got, it's time to reevaluate who the best and the worst characters inside of Mortal Kombat 1 are. My name is Big Flounder. I've been playing this game since release. I've been playing Mortal Kombat games since I was a child, and today I'm going to go ahead and rank all of the Mortal Kombat 1 characters for you, starting with the characters that absolutely need a tremendous buff: Scorpion and Havoc. This bottom tier used to be much larger. Actually, used to have like Sub-Zero, Natara, and a couple of other characters, but recently, they've gotten a tiny bit better, and with the cameo changes, I think that these characters, these two specifically, are now the worst characters in the game. I mean, Havoc literally has no wake-up armor at all. His combos do very lackluster damage, and his setup takes 2 bars to set up when he doesn't even have a wake-up armor. I mean, this character needs help, legit. One of his best cameos was Striker, which was the only thing that you could use in Combat League to kind of get ahead of your opponents and maybe use him online. Not anymore. Now Striker's nerfed, he's kind of dog shit. Havoc needs some love, maybe a new move. I would really recommend giving Havoc a base overhead or something, or giving him a nice armor wake-up tool. Scorpion is kind of atrocious. I put Scorpion and Havoc at like irreplaceable for bottom 1 because these characters actually suck. Scorpion's entire game plan is running away all game and trying to hit your 2 because that's all he can do. Legit. And hopefully you can hit your like full screen low sweep, but now players are reacting to that all the time. It's very hard to play Scorpion at a high level. You have to be a like master of the character, and that's why Scorpion is in the please buff tier. Now we go into the C tier, and you're probably seeing a kind of a surprising face here, Baraka. I personally believe that Baraka is no longer that good ever since the Striker nerf. You had Striker Cyrax, then you had Baraka Cyrax, then you had Striker Baraka. Now you have nothing. Now you can maybe use Kano, but Baraka's whole game plan is getting chip damage off. It's actually not even hitting combos. You want to get a chip damage off as much as you can because his chip damage is ridiculous. Now the best chip cameos are completely gone. Baraka is significantly worse. You can maybe use Kano to try to subvert those weaknesses, but still, Baraka kind of sucks now. I've seen Baraka Scorpion for the combo damage. That's cool, but at the same time, like I just said, you are not getting any chip damage. Baraka's whole kit revolves around chip damage. Now you can't do that, so Baraka's kind of taken a pretty big hit this patch. Natara, they've given her a lot of buffs, and at high levels, I don't think that she's C tier, okay? At the highest level of play, we're talking Sonic Fox's Natara, I don't think this character is that bad. But she's very hard to play, her mechanics are strange, and for that reason, I'm going to keep her in C tier for now, because I haven't seen any reason why Natara is above it. Sub-Zero also maintains the C tier. They've given him a lot of tools as well, and I think that at a higher level, Sub-Zero can be played well too. You see people like Sikander, MK Tom Brady, they're able to pull it off with Sub-Zero's crazy setup tools. However, the only issue is that Sub-Zero's combo damage is kind of his mix-up is kind of his zoning is great, but that's really it. He's kind of he's like Scorpion, but he does more damage. Now at the B tier, we're going to start off with Big Papa Shao. General Shao is still in a pretty solid spot right now. He's still able to do a lot of damage, still able to get a lot of great mix-ups out, and Chameleon Shao is pretty disgusting, so he's got some great synergy with the new cameos. But the only reason he's not higher is because General Shao is still lacking in terms of an overhead with his axe. It's very hard for him to get a lot of good mids with his axe, and you can kind of micro-duck a lot of the stuff that General Shao wants to do. So while the character can do a lot of damage and feels very oppressive, he's also got quite a bit of weaknesses too, so that's why he's in the B tier. Shang Tsung, once again, incredibly high skill gap. That's not why he's in the B tier, but it's just true. Shang Tsung is in the B tier because he's okay. His combo damage is like pretty They take forever for like 35 to 40%. It's like, okay, buddy. That took the entire match, and I'm barely even dead. I still think that this character has a lot of unexplored potential. I haven't seen nearly enough Shang Tsung players. His zoning is disgusting, but I don't think he's above or an A tier, and he's definitely not top 5. So sticking him in the high B tier is, I think, the way to go. Kung Lao. Kung Lao is great. I think that Kung Lao has a lot of great things, but he's severely lacking in the zoning department. The best way I found to fight a Kung Lao player is just get him away from you and use projectiles. All they can do is maybe throw their hat or dive kick you, and they're forced to pick a cameo to beat your zoning. A character like Kung Lao has great pressure, though. I mean, if you get in their face, you're kind of screwed. He has like a safe dive kick, safe armor, all this crazy bullshit and shenanigans that he can do. Kung Lao is kind of a menace currently, so he's like stuck right in the middle of B tier. Tanya is okay. I hate fighting Tanya with a passion, but I gotta be honest, I don't think that she's that good. I just suck at it. her range is great, her lows are great, her mix-ups are okay, and her zoning is okay once again. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like Tanya can do everything, but somewhat lacklusterly. Like, she has the range, she can do anything that she wants to do. It's just the tools that she has to do it aren't as good as other characters. So Tanya's okay. I'm going to give Tanya okay for now. And finally, we have Smoke in the lower B tier. Smoke is actually pretty good if you know how to do your cancels. Like, if you can get a cancel off every single time, and you're like a pro Smoke, bro, props to you, right? Props to you, because that is pretty hard to do. But what I will say about Smoke is he has a lot of up-blockable strings that get him punished very hard. His teleport's very reactable, and his strings have gaps in them. So not even up block, you can just armor a lot. But one thing I want to say about Smoke that I absolutely despise is Smoke's armor. Smoke can go completely invisible behind you, whoop your ass, and if you do hit him, he still gets his armor anyway on wake up. So he has a safe wake up armor basically. It's very hard to punish if you don't know the exact way to do it. They say jump, that doesn't even work sometimes, okay? It really doesn't. It's very weird to punish. It's an odd move, but I still think that Smoke deserves B tier because if you can get those cancels done, you are still a legend. I made 2 more additions to the B tier that I forgot to make. Reptile and Rain, also very solid characters, but they don't have any tools that put them above the other characters very hard. I mean, they kind of just use their shit pretty decently. Reptile has that great low. He has those big Mucinex booger balls that launch you up for full combos, like anywhere on the screen. And he has that great armor slide. But Reptile is a very fundamental based character. Like he reminds me of a Mortal Kombat 11 character where you're basically always looking for that whiff punish. You're always looking for some kind of way to set your stuff up. And he's actually somewhat difficult to play. So Reptile, solid B tier character. Rain, solid B tier zoner. Rain has great setups from full screen, great ways to just use a lot of very random tools, and his water bubble is great for anti-zone. If you pair him with Sub-Zero, you can barely ever hit the guy with projectiles. The only reason I have him down this low is because now that the meta has evolved, we're slowly finding out how to counter Rain a bit more. Like, I feel like Rain is a bit more reactable than the other characters because his moves are quite slow, and Rain has the ability to get beat the shit out of in the corner. His armor kind of sucks. If you block that thing, like, GG. I mean, he is a zoner. Like, he plays like a zoner with very weird setups, but he's a solid B tier character. Now let's move on to the A tier. In the A tier, I have Liu Kang. Liu Kang is like Kung Lao, but all of those weaknesses are gone. He's got great pressure, 6-frame moves, and insane zoning. I mean, you can just projectile the shit out of anybody. You want to shoot me? Enhanced Fireball, I destroy every projectile you just threw on the screen. You wanna jump up, Dragon Ball Z. You know what I'm saying? Liu Kang can do whatever the hell he wants. So, I mean, everyone kind of knows that, like, Liu Kang Kung Lao, even with the Kung Lao nerfs, is still great. The throw combo is despicable, and I think that this is a great placement for Liu Kang. Raiden actually did get knocked down a peg. He did. Raiden was knocked down a peg because of that Storm Cell nerf, because of the Striker nerf. Raiden Kano isn't as good as it used to be. It's still very solid. He's still got great anti-air, great damage, but the Storm Cell nerf actually was decently substantial in terms of knocking him down a bit. And I see Raiden a lot less more nowadays, which is great. Thank you, NetherRealm, for that. Woo! We'll take those every day of the week. Overall, though, yeah, he's still a decent A tier character. Garrus, very underrated character. If you can play Garrus to a T, either Garrus Kung Lao or Garrus Motaro, you're getting like 50% combos, insane pressure, insane zoning if you know what you're doing, and like free breaks anytime you want. So Garrus is gross, just straight up. Garrus is a gross character with gross abilities and gross everything. I am somewhat scared of Garrus players because they're either really bad, they just picked them up, or they're horrifying, they'll beat my ass every time, they'll BBC me. And the BBC combo, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is still in the game, it is still very disheartening to get hit by. Li Mei. It pains me to put Li Mei this high because I hate her, but she's really good. I mean, she has very high damage with Scorpion, she has very safe strings, very good zoning with the lantern, plus just spam projectiles. I mean, you can't really jump on her. And her armor is, once again, great. You can pair it with Scorpion and get insane wake-up armor combos that just do a lot of damage. We're talking like 45, 50% every time. I mean, Lee Mei is gross. We all kind of know that. We've been fighting Lee Mei for a minute, and it is disheartening every single time. Kitana. Now, I have Kitana decently high because I actually think that she is great. Kitana Jax is still a menace. Kitana with any combination I've seen, like Kitana Chameleon, very gross. There's a lot of things that Kitana has abilities to do that other characters do not. Her zoning reminds me of a better version of Reign's, almost, where you can do the same exact type of setups, but with more oomph to them. And her combos just feel so wonky to block that I think that the Kitana is a slightly better zoner. Now, speaking of slightly better zoners, I'm actually going to move this position. I think that Quan Chi is currently the best, like, actual zoner archetype in the game. Now, there's a guy over there. You see him right there. We're not going to talk about him because he's not supposed to be a fucking zoner. He's not supposed to be. We're going to talk about Quan Chi for a second. Because Quan Chi has a new move that gives him like 3 hits of armor. I just made a video about that if you want to see why I think he's so broken. That you can pair with Sub-Zero and just get infinite armor. I mean, Quan Chi is no longer really even a zoner. Like, if you get in his face, bro, you're like Havoc. You have 3 hits of armor and you can't move. I mean, he's disgusting. His pressure is really good now. They actually fixed a lot of his issues with this recent patch. So, I personally believe that Quan Chi is indeed top 10, if not top 5. But I'm going to keep him down here because he still has glaring weaknesses. Like, down 1 being, like, I think it's 9 frames. Ugh. What are you going to do in those situations? Like, you're a very slow character up close. So, you have to be smart while playing Quan Chi. For that reason, he's definitely not top 5. Omni-Man is still very solid. Omni-Man Kung Lao, even with the Kung Lao nerfs, he knocked him down a little bit, but he can still do some very great setups. He can still do some insane stuff, and this Kung Lao nerf only makes Omni-Man Jax more viable, which was another great way to play Omni-Man. So, if you're an Omni-Man fan, you think that you're scared that Kung Lao nerfs or whatever, you're still fine, you're still having a good time. Omni-Man is still a great time to play, and he's still very good. Reiko. I fucking hate Reiko. I hate Reiko with a burning passion. And if you don't, you're not playing the same game as me. This guy's supposed to be a grappler. He's supposed to have like weapons, spears, and knives and shit. All Reiko does is spam enhanced shurikens. Please rework this character. Please rework him. Please literally change every single aspect of his kit. I am begging. This is not how a grappler should play. We do not have a grappler in Mortal Kombat 1. We don't. And I'm a grappler main. Reiko is not a grappler. You can call him whatever you want to call him. That's not what he is. Enough of that rant. He's still very good because of that spam. He's decently safe, and he's got some very nice pressure tools. But really, the reason he's so high is because shuriken spam. It is incredibly hard to deal with. A lot of characters can't deal with it unless you bring the right cameo. Now, finally, topping off our A-list is Mileena. Mileena is decent. Mileena definitely does a lot of damage. Check out Hourglass of Rain, one of the best Mileena players, probably the best Mileena player on the planet right now. Mileena's pretty disgusting. Mileena beat Sonic Fox in a tournament recently. This character has a lot of tools and things to do that are gross. But a lot of her tools and pressure comes from that overhead low string stuff. And at the end of the day, you can counter Mileena a bit more than the characters that I'm going to place in my top 5. So, while I think that Mileena can be played at a very high level, I don't think she's top 5 in the game. And finally, we have Big Flounda's top 5. Now, I'm sure what you're thinking, Sindel number 1? Not bad. Peacemaker number 2? Not bad. Ashra number 3? What the fuck are you thinking? Now listen. Let me explain. Sindel, we all know why Sindel is great. Sindel can cancel your cameo. She can have disgusting overhead low mix-ups with Kung Lao. Doesn't even matter that Kung Lao got nerfed because she is still very gross. Sindel is incredibly safe. Sindel has great zoning. Sindel can do really whatever the hell that she wants. And I think that at a tippy top level, Sindel is the best character in the game, hands down. I mean, this character can really do whatever she likes to do. Her setups, like I said, disgusting. And if you're a great Sindel player, like, you're going to get to Elder God every single season. The same goes with Peacemaker. I did not expect Peacemaker to be as broken as he is. Bro, they released Peacemaker, changed the entire game. Peacemaker on release was top 1. I'm going to be honest. If you guys remember Peacemaker on release, that shit was top 1. You're hitting 70% combos every game. That was disgusting. It's honestly a decent thing that they nerfed him. So, Everyone knows like Peacemaker is really good. He's got that great grab string, which a lot of players don't react to, and when they do, you can just do something else. I personally like to use like a Goro cameo or something. There's a lot of different tools that Peacemaker has to keep in your face, anti-zoning up the... You have a force field that just says to all projectiles. It's literally better than Sub-Zero's armor. You have insane zoning with Eagly and your own pistols, and you have some of the highest damage combos in the entire game, plus okay mix-up. You don't have an overhead, but you can do like low throw mix-up, which is okay. On top of all that, really, you have another way to get rid of their cameo. Eagly can cancel their cameo the same way Sindel can, and I personally believe that is a very, very underrated tool that these characters have, and they need to be used more often. Because, bro, I can get rid of your breaker, all of your pressure, really everything that you can do just by pressing the Eagly button. It's disgusting. Now, Astra, number 3. I'm sure you're asking, if you were like an Astra player, why is Astra top 3? Well, I think that Astra is currently better than Johnny Cage and Kenshi because these characters got nerfed and she didn't. Astra is very safe. She has disgusting overheads. She has some of the best pressure in the game if you know what you're doing. And her cameo synergies didn't really get nerfed at all. She goes Serena usually. She goes other cameos. She didn't really go with any of those cameos that got nerfed. So she didn't really receive any negative changes at all this patch. Which means that Astra, in my opinion, is now top 3. Johnny Cage, I think that Johnny Cage is still very solid. He got some pretty substantial nerfs, but he is still very solid. I think that Johnny Cage still has the ability to do a lot of great stuff up close. Once he gets up close to you, he just whoops the shit out of you. And I'm talking about like all they really did was nerf his one frame off his jab and make him a little bit less safe. He still has a lot of great pressure tools. He still has a lot of great options to be in your opponent's face. He still has a lot of plus frames. So Johnny Cage players, you're definitely a little bit worse. You're not top 1 anymore, but you are still top 5. So enjoy. Now, finally, we do have Kenshi. Kenshi is the last character on this list, and Kenshi is pretty okay. I mean, they nerfed him. Like, they definitely nerfed him. Sento doing less chip damage is a pretty substantial nerf, and it's definitely felt throughout playing Kenshi. But the thing about Sento's nerf is the damage is lesser, but the pressure is still the exact same. So it is still very hard to block Kenshi. It is still very hard to block Kenshi, especially when Sento is out behind you. You can barely even tell what's going on the screen, and you're still taking a pretty gnarly amount of chip damage regardless of the nerf. So regardless of the nerf, Kenshi is still top 5 100%. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that will be Big Flounder's tier list for Mortal Kombat 1 post Peacemaker patch. If you enjoyed, please do me a huge favor, leave a like, comment, subscribe. These things really help my channel out as I am still a newer Mortal Kombat creator. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.